Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Truly appreciate all of your support. We have actually passed now 15,500 subscribers. I think it's the best week, maybe 2 weeks since I don't know, during the season sometime and before Caitlin Clark got hurt. So that's kind of wild. So thank you. Thank you. I really do appreciate it. Man, I have not been able to respond to as many comments as I usually do, but I have gone through them. There are just so many more now than usual, and I see a lot of positive stuff. Y'all are enjoying it. So I really do appreciate that. It does matter if you are enjoying it, but you haven't joined the club yet, so to speak, please subscribe, like the videos if you are enjoying it as well. So we're going to talk here. I'm going to play a clip from a clip, a clip, the clip. I'm going to play a clip from Colin Cowherd talking about Caitlin Clark, and it's a little bizarre. It's a little strange. It's to me another way to downplay who she is. I have a lot of familiarity with Colin. He's a Jalen Hurts hater. So, I have my Philly sports channel. So I've shredded Colin a few times when it comes to Jalen Hurts. So I'm gonna let this play through. It is kind of long. It's about 2.5 minutes, but instead of stopping it constantly, I listened to it. I jotted down some notes just so I know which things he said and covered so I can expand upon that so I don't have to stop it every 2 seconds. So let's take a listen.
So Caitlin Clark, third season in the WNBA, has already set the record. She had another game in which she had at least 20 points and 10 assists. And I have been saying when she broke into the league, people said her comp is Steph Curry. Now, I think stylistically, the way she plays her game has got some Steph Curry. I think, though, in terms of an iconic player, she's more Michael Jordan. So Jordan walked into the NBA. He was a rookie sensation. Year two, he got hurt. Year three, he was like the best player in the league, arguably. And he then needed his Pippen, got it in year four. So Caitlin comes into the league, rookie sensation. Year two, last year she's hurt. Year three, okay, her stats are great again. When is she going to start winning at the next level? She has not won a playoff series yet. And so my take is she has her Pippen. Kelsey Mitchell was a player that got some MVP votes. And this is not like hating on Caitlin Clark, but the stage of, wow, who's the new kid? I'm done with that. That was awesome. That was Taylor Swift's self-titled album. Oh my God, who's that? And then it was Fearless, which crushed her self-titled album. I need Fearless. This is great. I've seen the stats. She shoots from a long way away from the basket. That is awesome. But there are stages to greatness. And I've always felt her game is Steph. I think she has a chance to be Jordan-esque, which is multiple championships if she can get the right coach and the right running mate. And I think she has that player. But she in fact, she won a playoff game. I don't think, no, she hasn't even won a playoff game. Forget a series. Now, again, first year, bad team. Last year, they built it around her. She was hurt. A little bit better team. This team should vie for the championship. If she is what I think she is. If not, get very, very close. They should get very, very close. Again, I loved the self-titled album. But when's Fearless come? Because that's the next level. There's a lot of one-hit wonders and a lot of one-album wonders. I think she's greater than that.
Now, I am going to give him credit for a couple of things. He kind of took a shot at Steph White, took a little bit of a dig at Steph White, which I appreciate, and the end saying, I think she's better than that. I appreciate that. It's, don't get me wrong, this is not like he's over the top with a lot of vitriol and hatred, but so much of this is incorrect. It's disingenuous at best. He works for Fox Sports 1. He's got a team of people doing research for him, and he doesn't seem to have done any at all for this segment. It doesn't make sense to me. So we're going to dig in and correct all of this, have a little fun. Look, first, I want to address the Kelsey Mitchell thing. Kelsey Mitchell is not Scottie Pippen. Okay? Very, very, very different situations. Scottie Pippen was a good player, great player. He was a complement to Michael Jordan. He knew his role. Michael Jordan was Batman. Scottie Pippen was Robin. Scottie Pippen knew it. Scottie Pippen accepted it. That was his role. He was a complementary piece to Michael Jordan. As we all know, and I've said many times, Kelsey Mitchell is the best shooting guard in the WNBA. I take that away early now because she's focused, like she's become so much more about Kelsey Mitchell than I'd seen in the past, to where just scoring, she's still a net negative on the team, right? T- Two straight games with 0 assists and 0 rebounds, and on and on. And as we know, and she spent a lot of years losing. And as we know, Stephanie White has constantly said Kelsey Mitchell is the priority. Kelsey Mitchell is the first option. We're building around Kelsey Mitchell. So it's completely different universe. She is not in any way Scottie Pippen. That's just incorrect. Okay, so Michael Jordan, yes, he got hurt in his second season, missed a lot of games, but he was back and healthy for the playoffs. He played in the playoffs in his second season. Okay. Now, Caitlin Clark has played really one season, right? She was done in July last year. We're only 4 games into her second season, basically. Michael Jordan's first 3 years, he played all the playoff games. They went to the playoffs all 3 years. He played in all the games. They got swept in the first round all 3 years of Michael Jordan's first three. Didn't win a playoff game his first 3 seasons. Didn't win a title until his seventh year in the league. Again, this is really Caitlin Clark's second. He got Pippen in year 4, didn't win a title till year 7. Caitlin already is an MVP candidate because he mentioned Michael Jordan being maybe the best player in the league in year 3. I don't know. I mean, we had Bird in his prime and Magic in his prime, but anyway, and she is doing it despite having Stephanie White as her coach, right? So that's a little absurd as well. When is she going to start winning at the next level? Again, she's played one season. She took a team that hadn't been to the playoffs in like a decade. They had been 13 and 20 the year before, 13 and 27 the year before, sorry. Took them to 20 and 20 and a playoff berth. And then, yeah, they got swept in a 3 game series. So they lost 2 games. And we all know how that went with the officiating and the attacks on Caitlin Clark and the eye gouging and everything else. I also just, as an aside for fun, I think it's kind of bizarre that this middle aged man is trying to make an analogy with Taylor Swift albums. I'm just saying. I don't know. It seems kind of weird. Um, and then he also reduced her to the logo threes second. And like, oh, yeah, that was all exciting, but I need more. Well, Caitlin has always been more than the logo threes. Logo threes got a lot of fans to watch her game. They've all figured out there's a lot more to it, so they keep watching. So again, there's a little ignorance and lack of research there. Now again, he makes the not winning a playoff game thing. That 13 and 7, 27 to 20 and 20. They went and played a 2 game series and a 3 game series and got swept. That's the only time she's been to the playoffs. One time, Colin. Michael Jordan played his first 3 years in the playoffs and got swept every single year. Didn't win a title until year 7. By the way, also switched the coach to the all-time great, Phil Jackson. We also talk about the roster. He mentioned, like, yeah, this team, this is not a good roster. We all know that. Didn't get a backup center, you know, brought in 47 small point guards. Now, look, I think there's still enough talent if you play Caitlin Clark's way. If you give her the ball, let her read and react, let the team run, play off of that, look like post Olympic 2024. Yes, there is enough talent. They got to do some things differently because, the boards are a struggle and sometimes matchups defensively are a struggle. But absolutely, this team does have the talent if they're allowed to do what they should do. Hey, did I mention Jordan played in the playoffs his first 3 years and got swept? Didn't get a title till year 7 with the right coach named Phil Jackson. Stephanie White is no Phil Jackson. Caitlin Clark has played one season. What are we doing, Colin? Ay, ay, ay. And, setting that aside, there's so many great players in the history, NBA, NFL, that haven't won a title. I'm not a huge fan of the title culture that exists now to define you're great if you won a title, you're not if you didn't. Robert Ory, NBA player, good. Fits in well with the right team where he can flourish with certain talent around him. He has 7 NBA titles. You're going to tell me he's an all-time great because he has 7 NBA titles? He is not, in fact, an all-time great. Oh man. And I just want to add that Michael also did not have a front office and a coach that seemed to be trying to sabotage him either, and sometimes teammates. And again, also didn't have Phil Jackson, didn't win until Phil Jackson came in. Did not win a title till year 7, got swept his first 3 years in the playoffs. What are we talking about? And then just to finish up, I want to go back to Jalen Hurts for a second because this kind of exposes to me the hypocrisy of Colin Cowherd, where he's like, I want this narrative. Give me a way to spin this narrative because I can tell you as an Eagles fan, like I said, I'm very familiar with Colin because I've done a lot of stuff in having to research and refute the nonsense he says about my quarterback on my Philly sports channel. Now, keep in mind all the things that he just said now about Caitlin Clark. Oh my God, she's played 1 year and she hasn't won anything. Okay. He constantly bashes Jalen Hurts, doesn't put Jalen Hurts in top 10, then lists the qualifications and the reasons that quarterbacks are in the top 10. Jalen Hurts beats them all. It doesn't make sense. But listen to this. Jalen Hurts went to a Super Bowl his second year as a starter, actually outplayed Patrick Mahomes. Should have won the game, but, we won't get into the referee call that helped decide it. 2 years later, he goes back to the Super Bowl. So, fourth year as a starter. Not only wins the Super Bowl, but wins Super Bowl MVP. But he keeps trashing Jalen Hurts, doesn't put him in his top 10 while constantly glazing Josh Allen as the best quarterback in the league, even though Josh Allen has never won a thing. Josh Allen still hasn't been to a Super Bowl. So, take what Colin Cowherd says with just a tiny grain of salt. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. I appreciate you checking out the video as always.